Welcome to the Landy Peak podcast. I'm your host and friend, Landy Peak, and I am thrilled to have you join me. In each episode, we will explore what makes life truly fulfilling: happiness, deep connections, and self-discovery. Together, we'll uncover that happiness is not a destination, but a way of living. There's something really humbling about standing inside a herd of wild horses because they don't know human rules and expectations. They don't care who you are, what you do. They care about your energy, your awareness, your presence, and whether they can trust you. And this summer, my daughter Tegan and I are training a wild Mustang yearling. And as they have been in quarantine, we have been lucky enough to be able to volunteer to feed and muck. And before we've even officially been assigned our horse, these horses are already teaching both of us a lot about presence and trust and connection, and also those nonverbal behaviors, really watching those subtle cues. And so today, I am so excited to have Tegan on the Landy Peak podcast and be able to share about both of our experiences as we begin this journey with our wild Mustangs. Welcome back to the Landy Peak podcast. Still have a little bit of a cold, so my voice kind of goes in and out, but much stronger. So today, I'm going to have my daughter Tegan on as we really dive into our series around training a wild Mustang in the summer of 2026. Before I have Tegan on, I want to just talk a little bit about kind of what I've seen as the experience for me in first really witnessing the wild horses and being in and around them. So because Tegan and I do volunteer with Wild Rose Mustang Advocacy Group, we are part of the team that are taking care of these horses during quarantine. So we do get to go in and feed and muck and be around the energy. And it's different than being around the energy of, say, a regular herd of horses because, a couple of things, these horses are not used to a lot of people. So these horses did not grow up with people in and around like many domesticated horses do, where mom knows people, they grew up with people, people are there when they're born. These horses are really, for a lot of them, untouched and not used to interacting. Now, all of them have been in a facility with the Forest Service for some period of time. So they have seen people coming in, feeding, doing things like that. So this group is not wild, freaking out around people. They are a lot calmer and calmer than maybe past groups that, as I'm talking to the board members of Wild Rose, calmer than some of the past groups that have come in as they've done this. There's a lot of facility-born horses in here. Now, they're all about a year. So we're also taking in the dynamics of they haven't been in and around people a lot. Being facility-born, they have seen people, feeding and cleaning and things like that. So we're not foreign to them, but they're also really young. And so they don't know people rules and they're only going by horse rules. Horse rules are different than people rules. And people tend to put a lot of intent behind actions where horses don't necessarily have that same intent behind what they're doing. Horses have complete nonverbal communication, right? So we're not telling each other. So they're not telling each other. They're showing each other what needs to happen. And as you have a group of horses that come in that have not been together, there is an establishing of pecking order that happens. It happens with animals. We have backyard chickens. Our backyard chickens also have a pecking order. And as they establish that pecking order, there are some shifts in dynamics and you see more behaviors come out. And then as we get a pecking order in place, everybody kind of settles in and the dynamics shift and get calmer. But the first few days when the wild horses came, there was a lot of shifting within the group. And so you saw behaviors that were labeled as people watch as being nasty or um, other words that come in, being nasty or being assholes or being bitchy. And it really is just establishing dominance in a horse language. And so when we're in and working with these horses, at first we have to abide by their language, right? That's how they know to communicate. So if we communicate in that language and then start pairing our human expectations, they're better going to understand. So as we watched the herd, we definitely saw the behaviors of other certain horses pushing around other horses, and that's establishing dominance. So from what I have learned, horses who move their feet are less dominant than the horse who is making them move their feet, right? So if a horse pins their ears back, I'm not happy in horse language, snakes their neck and comes after you, and another horse moves out of the way, then that horse just established dominance over the horse that moved out of the way. And then it will domino effect. That next horse will kind of do that same behavior, pin and shift. They will also turn and kick. You're too close in my space. They will bite. You're too close in my space, right? There are horses that, as we observed the behavior, would just push other horses away from the feed, just to push other horses away from the feed. They're not being mean. They're establishing dominance. But from our intent-based human view, it looks like they're being mean and nasty, and they're really not. And so when you're going into the herd, and Tegan and I are going into the herd as we are mucking the paddock that they are in, as we were bringing hay in, they have that same kind of expectation. And so we have to be aware of it. So one of the things, as I coached Tegan, who did not grow up with horses, I grew up with a herd of horses, sawhorse dynamics, red horse dynamics, also those horses knew people and knew people dynamics. And so there's kind of that mesh, but I had grown up watching, especially as we added to our herd with different horses, that pecking order be reestablished. And so teaching Tegan to watch the behaviors. Who's that head horse? Who's pushing most? And then the domino effect that comes down as she pushes or he pushes. There's both geldings and fillies in this group. So as he pushes or she pushes, who pushes next and who gets pushed out, and that's the bottom of the pecking order. The nice thing for Tegan is she has seen this in real life with our chickens, because our chickens have established that same kind of pecking order. We have a top dog and we have the bottom of the barrel, right? And so it's just in personalities and kind of how that shifts. But at the beginnings, there's a lot of pushing around. Now, Tegan has this incredible energy where I call her the animal whisperer, if you buy into that. And she has this really calm presence and warm and open presence. And she has always attracted animals. She's an incredible asset as we foster animals, and we have fostered kittens and bunnies and guinea pigs and have kind of that dynamic. She is really incredible in being there with us and putting animals at ease. So Tegan comes in and has an incredibly loving attitude too. And she's not mean and doesn't want to be forceful or mean. So there is that dynamic of balance of being a leader and I don't want to be mean. So we're kind of coaching in like, you want to push in and you make them move their feet, not in a mean way, not in a harsh way, but in a like, you're not making me move way. She's also small. So she's 11. So we don't have as big of energy and presence as, say, I do. So we go in together. Now, I am definitely in mama bear protective energy. I think that's more of that masculine energy. When we kind of look internally, we all have masculine and feminine. And I really see that feminine energy as creative and leadership and the visionary and the nurturing and the warmth, right? Tegan is totally in her feminine energy as we walk in. I am stepping more into my protective awareness, like really watching the dynamics so that I can make sure that she doesn't get in a sticky situation. I'm coaching and verbally talking her through, like, look at this one. We have observed the herd as we go in. So she's seen the dynamics at play. She comes in and she's also done work with me with wild horses before. And I follow Warwick Schiller's work. He's an incredible horseman and talks about nervous system regulation with horses and trauma, as well as looking at one of the behaviors that we often label as naughty as a bid for connection. And that's when a horse comes and they try to mouth you. And a lot of people go, oh, don't bite me. That's bad. And really, it's a bid for connection. And so she has worked with horses around that. She knows what to do. And so as they come up and try to mouth, she puts her hands either up or down so that they can't get her whole hand in and get a finger. But they will lip your hand or sometimes even graze their teeth against your hand. And they do this to other horses as you watch. And they're doing this to humans as that bid. So as she has wild horses approaching her, and they're yearlings, so they're smaller horses, but still, they're still powerful and big. As she has them approach her, she puts her hand out, they sniff. They'll often do that bid for connection where they're lipping or even scraping their teeth against your hand. She's really open and good around that energy. And so here's Tegan, and I saw her as like in my mind's eye, right? Here's this like Disney fairy princess, and she's this little blonde girl. She's got long blonde hair. She's kind of flowy energy. And she comes in this warm, open space, and these horses keep coming up to her. And it's incredible to watch. But as a mom and someone who has been around horses, I'm like watching dynamics and making sure that I'm going to protect her. And as she is just in heaven as they're coming to her and she's being able to touch horses and really starting to build some of that early connection base with these horses. There was one point that there was a herd of 6 and they were all heads to her, which is good. We can see her. We have awareness of her. I don't like her, in places that horses aren't going to notice her, but they can all start coming in closer and closer. And so here I am in my big protective energy, like making them move back and pushing and also coaching her to try to make them move out of her space instead of her kind of feel like she needs to take a step back out of their space as they can come up and really engage. So it's an interesting dynamic as I look at, and in this circumstance, kind of that very clear picture of feminine energy all embodied. And I have a friend, India Lee, who, talks to me about like stepping into my goddess energy and having this visionary and the leadership and having that masculine energy support. And that's really where we were. I was in my masculine energy, really supporting and protecting and watching. And she was very much in her feminine energy, connecting and really being. And she has an incredible ability to just be, especially with animals. So it was an interesting experience as she is really connecting. And inside me, I also have a similar energy where I do love to connect and really come in with animals and with humans. But noticing I couldn't tap into that same connection, when I go in alone by myself, I can connect and I can approach and I can have space and I can wait and I can, really connect with those bits of connection. That's my feminine energy. And as I'm in with her, I didn't have that ability because I needed to be in more of that protective awareness, watching energy. And so it's just interesting as the dynamics come out and the little sadness in me that's like, oh, but I want to be her. I want to be in that goddess energy and be able to just be the fairy princess in with all the horses. And that wasn't my role as we first went in. So I'm going to invite Tegan on and we're going to chat just about our first experiences with the wild horses. Okay. Hello. I have a very special guest with me today.
I'm the daughter.
I have my daughter, Tegan, and we are doing a Mustang challenge this summer, and we're teaming up together. So we are an official pair.
Yeah.
And we're doing it through Wild Rose Mustang Advocacy Group. And
good channel. Thanks.
Good. I want to talk about first because you and I got to go watch the Mustangs come off the trailer. They are so cute. So share a little bit. Well, first, introduce yourself.
I'm Tegan. I am 11 years old. I just finished 5th grade. I love horses. Don't think of anything else.
That's good.
Yeah.
And so when we went and watched them come off the trailer, what were your thoughts?
To be honest, I thought they were a little scared.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think they warmed up really quickly. They started doing pecking order very fast.
Yeah.
Very fast.
Yeah. So as we watched come off the trailer, and the video of the horses coming off the trailer that will be posted to Instagram, is Tegan was our videographer. So she got the whole thing. But it was interesting seeing them come off. They were a lot smaller than I anticipated. And because a lot of them were facility born and not off the range.
Only 3 off the range.
Yeah. So you're going to have to talk loud.
Only 3 off the range.
They're a lot more people comfortable
Yes.
than I expected. And that, according to some of the board members, they're a lot more people oriented than some of the last batches that they have gotten. So it's interesting just to see kind of personalities. So Tia, let's talk about who we want.
Yes.
And kind of your thoughts on the different horses. So there were 10 yearlings that came to Wild Rose and are currently in quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out this week who we get. So we'll let you know next week which horse we got. But let's talk through horses. Who is your top pick as you watched them? Because we first got to just observe, and then Tegan and I both do volunteers, so we get to muck and feed. Tell me, what do you think?
There's this cute little buckskin. She has these cute little bangs.
A little
love her.
Uh-huh. Yes.
She's amazing.
So Tegan and I both fell in love with one horse, which was really nice as partners. And there is a little buckskin filly that, if you have watched Man from Snowy River, looks like a mini Denny. And so just as the volunteers are working with them, we've given them, nicknames.
Yeah.
That will not stick as they get passed on to a trainer. That trainer then gets to choose the name. But right now, instead of going by numbers, we're giving them nicknames. And so currently the volunteers are calling this one Denny because it's like a little mini Denny. And so what do you want to say about Denny? Why, more than just cute, do you like Denny?
Denny's one of the more shy ones, and Denny came off the range first.
Yes.
Denny's one of the 3 that actually came off the range, and is actually wild.
So guessing around late 2025, there was a roundup around September 2025. So sometime late summer, early fall, Denny was rounded up. Yeah. And so that's appealing to both of us.
Yes.
But
so Denny seems interested in people, still a little shy. I feel like that behavior would be so fun to work with.
Yeah. So when Denny first came off the trailer, and in the first couple of days, she was really hesitant around people. Because there's other horses, and horses are herd animals, and they learn from watching. I think Denny has been a lot more comfortable, but at first you couldn't approach her. And then we're able to approach and pet. And it's interesting watching all of them as they've settled in and become a lot more comfortable in their space, that you're seeing a lot more kind of personality kind of come out. Okay, so Denny's number 1 for both of us. And then who did you have as your next pick?
Rip.
But not at first.
Not at first.
So who was at first? Because we have settled on our top 3.
At first it was
one of the little roans.
One of the little roans.
So there's 3 cute little roans. And they all have great personalities. And the hard thing is, like, I don't think we can go wrong.
Except for what?
Spud.
Spud something.
Spud's a little pushy.
I don't want Spud.
So as we watch the herd, there's definitely different personalities that come out. Pushier horses, more dominant horses that are more curious in the people, horses that are in your space and in your face as you're doing it. Okay, so Spud was not one of your tops, but I think it's Beth that...
Beth was my first, second choice. Then it went to Rip.
And then it went to Rip. And so
Rip
we will
is my
post
current favorite.
a video on Instagram and that goes through, that was done by Stephanie from Wild Rose. And she goes through each horse. If you want to kind of match and have a visual. But your third choice was Rip.
Yes.
Okay. So, and my second choice was Rip. And so Rip is a yearling who actually, I think her birthday is June 6th. They're coming up in June. So she's just turning a year.
Celebrating.
And she was a facility born horse listed as, I think, a gray roan. But
she's not gray. She's black.
But she looks black. She has a little bit of graying out. It'll be fun to see her as she ages and what she looks like.
Yes.
So what do you like about Rip?
She's super sweet. She's super sweet. She's the biggest horse in the thing, but she's still my size. I think that's just a little cute. She's a little hesitant around the head, so we're gonna work on that.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, she's just sweet.
She's really sweet. Of course, she came out a little bit more dominant and pushy right out of the trailer, but she is settled and she's probably mid in the pecking order of horses. Not bottom, but not the pushiest horse.
Oh, that's funny because we have a bottom. Denny's the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
We have Rip, which is like middle-ish, and then the other one, which we're gonna explain soon, which is quite top there.
Right.
So that's fun.
So Rip kind of settled and just really sweet personality, very curious. And that's the one that Dad likes the most.
Yeah.
So Rip is our number 2 choice. And then our third choice is Montego.
Montego Bay.
Montego is the sweetest little looking bay. So bay is kind of a reddish I guess we should describe colors too, if you're not familiar with horse colors.
We should.
So buckskin is kind of a goldish color with black mane and tail.
Yeah.
If you've seen Man from Story River, the main horse on there is a buckskin.
Yeah.
And then we talked about Rips being kind of black. And then a bay is kind of a reddish brown with black mane and tail. Yeah. And this particular horse has a little bit of white on its face and the sweetest little
bays have little white on face.
But we also like Monterey Bay.
Monterey Bay, yes. We have 2 bays.
Which is another one. Both of those came off the range. Little bit more pushy in the horse herd, but not with people. Seeming to be a little bit more shy. I think we're drawn to the horses that are a little bit more shy but curious about people. Yes. Not quite in your face, ready to go.
Like most people love those horses that are in your face, ready to go. But the thing is, personally, I like the horses that are less there in your face because then you get to work with them more and it's honestly just a funner experience in my opinion.
Right. It's building that trust. And I think Tegan and I, and we've worked with a Mustang in the past where we did a lot of trust building. And so building that trust in that relationship, I think is one of the fun parts. And we're doing that with any horse that we get. But ones that we're going to have to work a little bit more for that trust, I think is going to be fun. Mm-hmm. And then we have, technically we're supposed to have 3. I put in 4. So we had Montego, and then we had Monterey Bay. Yes. And again, another, I think, more top of the pecking order. Wasn't sure at first when we saw him come off the trailer and kind of pushing herd around, still pushes herd around, but comes up to Tegan and is just the sweetest personality with us.
Yeah.
So
with the herd, she's pushy. She wants to be dominant. She is pretty dominant. Mm-hmm. But with people, she's actually super sweet and super loving.
Yes.
So that's going to be super fun. Just to see what is there.
To see the shift.
Yeah.
And see kind of the glow up or glam up. Yes. They're all pretty rough looking. And so they still have some winter coats. They have giant mats.
If we get Denny, we will post a before and an after.
I think with anybody we'll post before and after.
We probably will.
So there's a lot of kind of work that we get to do and health and nutrition and, kind of working to make sure that we've got super healthy, super
Mhm.
connected,
Yes.
safe feeling horse.
Mhm.
Share. What's your experience going in with a herd of 10 horses? Because that's a unique
Yeah.
experience because they're all in a paddock together, not in like separate stalls, more of a pasture space that is together. And Mustangs have to have special fencing because they don't respect the fences like a horse that grew up with fences. And so they have to have extra tall, extra strong fences. So, what's it like as we kind of go in with 10? Because it's 10, especially 10 horses who are young. So, we have young, just like kids, when you have little kids, we don't know all the rules, we don't know all of the manners. So we have that they're young. We also have that they haven't really worked with people. So they don't know people rules. They know horsey rules.
Mhm.
And so it is kind of a different experience when you go in. They're learning quick just from having people in and out mucking and feeding. So what's your kind of experience going in with a herd? Because that's the first time you've
Yes.
been in with a herd that size.
It's the first time. I believe it's only 2 horses that have been that close. It hasn't been much. I think it's 4
Yes.
until now. And these are the youngest horses that I have interacted with.
Mhm.
I think seen. I don't know about that. But interacted with at least.
Mhm.
So it's very new
Mhm.
because they're still like kind of like being, hey, this is my spot in the pecking order.
Yes.
Definitely have to be a little more careful, which is kind of hard because ADHD.
Yes. So that there is that distraction
Yes.
that comes in and you are
And things might
just
pull off by
a
then.
lover of animals and horses.
Yes.
And so you can get very zoned in around a specific horse or horses. But you're very good at watching, and we're talking a lot about horse body language
Yes.
because horses are communicating
Mhm.
at this stage, especially with
Because
each other.
ears pinned back don't probably get out of their space.
Mhm.
Ears back a little iffy. I would probably stop what you're doing. Maybe step one back, not too far, but it's like a little bit of a warning.
Mhm.
I don't like this.
Mhm.
Forward, kind of interested. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
pretty much
So
all.
when they're forward, their ears are turned forward and really they're paying attention to you and they're focused.
Yeah.
And yes, when they get pinned
Mhm.
back, somebody's not happy. And they're not typically having behaviors towards us. They're not pinning
Yes,
their ears back
it's
at
mainly
us.
just
It is
other horses.
other horses, but we are in there
The
and
thing
they're
is
not.
that's bucking kicks, and you want to get out of it. You want to get out of the kick zones.
Yes. So we have to be careful of where we're walking around a
Yeah.
horse. So we don't want to be anywhere that
Always
we
be
can.
careful, even if they're new or not. Just
Mhm.
stay away from that kick zone.
So we don't want to be in a space, especially with a young one that doesn't
Yes.
know differently,
Mhm.
that we don't get kicked. So we're watching our bodies and we're also watching the herd dynamics
Yeah.
because as one is going to move somebody away from their spot in the hay and the ears go back, it's
That's
is a
going to be a little bit of
domino.
a ripple.
Yes, a ripple effect
Mhm.
or a domino effect that, you have one push, somebody away. They're going to push the next person. They're going to push the next horse, not person.
Mhm. Until you get to a point where a couple will leave, or one will start a fight, and then, of course, one will probably leave in the end,
Mhm.
unless they peace.
Yes. So
Basically.
then there's some kicking that happens between the horses as they're really claiming and
Yeah.
moving their space. So it is a lot of moving pieces and parts that we're in as we're working.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of behavior watching because you have to watch everybody. And as if one horse is going to go to kick, the other horse is going to move out of that kick zone really quick.
Yeah.
That needs to be able to watch us. So
Mm.
horse doesn't always realize that we are there or that we're not just another horse that's going to move. So we have to be really aware to kind of watch and make sure we're moving our bodies out of the way.
Yeah.
So it's a lot in that kind of herd dynamics. And it's really cool to watch as it's a new herd together, establishing that pecking order. And you can see the dominance and you see who gets pushed out. And there's 2 particular horses that we have observed kind of get pushed to the bottom and pushed out. And then you see them kind of circle around and get back in.
they'll do their best to get back in
Mhm.
place.
Because we're feeding.
It's quite funny because the 2 that are bottom, whenever they get pushed out, they don't push anyone away even if they try.
Mm-hmm.
So they just have to, like, squeeze in somewhere or, just scraps.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So,
all
yeah.
you get.
Yep. So it's that shift in
Mhm.
pecking order. Okay. So
Yes.
anything else we need to share about the herd as we get going?
Mhm. Pecking order? What
Which
we've
I still read about.
seen
Mm-hmm. You
what
good?
we've seen about the pecking order.
Go for it.
Who do we think are So with pecking order, whenever there's this big of group of horses, you usually have to know who are the big ones, so you know when they're moving. Because when they're moving, other horses are probably gonna
Uh-huh.
moving, and that's usually gonna come somewhere in your space.
Uh-huh.
So the 2 main pecking order, which one? They. There are.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
some of the other people that are out there and one of the board members that who owns the property where they are um is seeing a little bit different than what you and I are
Mhm.
seeing and talking. So she was thinking Spud and Phoebe are kind of more dominant.
They are
I
definitely
see.
dominant.
Mhm.
I would say they are definitely high in the pecking order. I would say one of the bays are.
I see the bays having a lot more behaviors kind of pushing around.
Yeah.
Um
There's I definitely think those 2 are
mhm.
very high in the pecking order.
Uh-huh.
Phoebe, I feel like, is one of the. If there's 4, I feel like she's the 4th in the pecking order, but she's still pretty high.
Mhm. So we kind of see that shifting.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Mm, um,
We'll be good.
what type of behaviors we are seeing with
Like what?
different horses?
So
How? I don't know. This might be it.
okay, cool. So next week we will announce which horse that we get to work with the entire summer of 2026. So we will be working with our horse from June
Mhm.
through the end of August.
And every week we'll be posting, telling you what we've learned, blah, 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 when the show is so you can get tickets.
We'll document the entire experience, and there will be a showcase at the end that will be here in Fort Collins, Colorado.
Yeah.
And then all of the horses in the showcase are up for adoption.
Mhm.
So that's a really fun thing that we get
Owners
to
do get first pick,
the trainers.
but trainers get first pick. But if the trainers don't decide to take them, you get to bet
No,
or buy them. Adopt them.
and then we
Adopt.
get to, yep. So they're all
Yeah.
up for adoption. Okay. So we're really excited to find out
Yay.
our topic. Because Tegan does volunteer and she does know several of the board members, she has been personally requesting who she wants. So I think every single person that is making a decision has the powers that be knows Tegan's choice.
Let's just say
which is
I have
awesome.
that charm.
So we are excited to see who we get, and then we will let you know who we get. Our first real solo interactions with our new horse and kind of what we're thinking. We're excited to start building that connection so we can start grooming and getting some of the mats off.
Oh, those mats are going to feel so good to get out.
It is they're rough. Okay, so thank you so much for showing up today. What?
Quickly, warning, there will be screaming in the next episode.
Tina's very excited and anticipates we're going to open our email. We'll receive it by email.
It's not going to be like we've read it before. We are going to read it live first time.
So you guys get to find out with us exactly who we get. So the joy or the disappointment, I don't think there's going to be disappointment.
No, they're all pretty good. I will be a little iffy if we get Spud. I really hope we don't get Spud, to be honest. All the others I will be very excited to get.
But Spud is not here. Spud is not.
Yay! We're going to have to work with that one.
It'll be fun. I want to thank you for joining us today. Thank you for joining us on this summer adventure as we train a wild Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
We are super excited to do it and to be able to share it with you. I want to thank you for doing something good for you, for just showing up, doing things, being amazing. And I wish you all the happiness that today can bring. Mm-hmm.
We should do a fun fact of horses in every video.
That would be really fun.
We should.
Next episode, we'll have a fun fact on horses.
Yes. Every episode, we will search a fun fact. Yay. Because we want to.
I want to wish you all the happiness today can bring, and we will talk to you on the next episode.
Bye.
Hey, before you go, just a little bit of legal. This podcast is designed for educational purposes only. It is not to replace any expert advice from your doctors, therapists, coaches, or any other professional that you would work with. It's just a chat with a friend, me, where we get curious about ideas, thoughts, and things that are going on in our lives. And as we're talking about friends, if you know someone who would benefit from the conversation today, please share. Because I think the more that we open up these conversations, the more benefit we all get. So until next time, give yourself a big hug from me and stay curious, because that's the fun in this world.